in Hawaii on the island of Kauai, and driving around and realized that there was a tsunami alert that came on, and we heard about the earthquake that had happened near Kamchatka in the North Pacific, and I immediately went to the USGS website and started seeing what was going on.
USGS website was a very helpful resource for so many of us, and we know all the different types of waves that the earthquake produced, both in terms of what the earthquake did, and then of course what it did in the ocean too. And immediately we started seeing these tsunami warnings coming out for the Pacific Ocean.
So to actually be in an area when a tsunami is actually happening was truly a first of a kind event in the 20 plus years that I've been studying tsunamis. So I was glad to be there, and it was fascinating to see it happen in real time.
Yeah, bring us back there. Where were you? What were you doing? And how did it play out for you?
Amazingly, we were meeting with kind of the de facto town manager of the town of Hanalei about 2 hours before the earthquake warning to talk about disaster preparedness. So we
Hmm.
were in his office, and he was talking about the plans that they were making, the plans they had in place, what had happened during the 1952 earthquake, which they are still aware of, and 1960 earthquake as well, where there's some small tsunami or some significant tsunamis that hit this area. But after the meeting, we kind of said, okay, well, it seems like they've got it pretty well in order. We talked about having some students come out and help them with some additional preparation ideas. So perhaps that'll still happen. And then I went about my business and was going to go for a swim.
And then the whole world went, hold my beer. We can give you exactly what you just talked about.
And the funny slash somewhat embarrassing thing is, when the earthquake happened, and as you mentioned, went to the U.S. Geological Survey website, earthquake.usgs.gov, and saw the first thing I look at when I look for the earthquake is the magnitude. And I think it was initially listed as an 8.5, if I remember correctly. And then the magnitude kind of, increased to a massive magnitude 8.8 earthquake, which is one of the biggest ones in recent history. But the main thing I was looking for in that event was actually the depth of the earthquake. So
Hmm.
this earthquake was measured at about 40 or 50 kilometers deep, which is quite deep. And at that point, I said, it's a big earthquake, but it's deep, so I'm not going to be that worried. So I kind of went on towards the beach and was going to go for a swim, as I mentioned before. But then, as the tsunami started propagating through the ocean, they have this series of deep ocean buoys called DART buoys, which is the Deep Ocean Assessment. Oh boy, I can't remember the acronym of
Reporting of tsunamis. I'm looking at it right here.
or tsunamis. Thank you. And I saw that one of the DART buoys, I think it was just kind of between Alaska and the Pacific Northwest, recorded a 1 meter wave. Now, when you have a 1 meter wave in the deep ocean, that was terrifying. And that's the point where I turned the car around and started heading back to the hotel and got stuck in a 2 hour traffic jam.
Wow. We saw pictures, and I got the dart buoys on the screen right now for anybody who is watching on YouTube or Facebook. So that's the reason I was able to cheat on that answer, because I was Googling it as you mentioned it. What was going through your mind? We saw those pictures of people stuck in traffic, and that sounds very scary.
Well, fortunately, I was stuck in traffic at a high elevation.
Oh, that's good.
And I was 100% confident that even if there was a massive, unprecedented size wave, that I would be fine where I was in the car, and everybody in that jam would be safe as well. It turns out there was some massive rainstorms that happened a while back, and they had made some landslides. So the road had been reduced to one lane, and they had actually used that constriction to restrict traffic to go down into the lowlands, which I think was a very, very good idea.